A very good evening to you. I'm Pearson Bowen. The Barbados Union of Teachers is calling for extensive changes to the Education Act. President Pedro Shepherd says amendments to that act are needed so that it can address 21st century issues. Lisa Broom has more.
For the second straight day, 28 teachers from Parkinson Memorial and 7 from the Alma Parish schools met at the Barbados Union of Teachers headquarters to discuss concerns relating to safety, increasing in discipline and other issues. They're making good on a promise not to return to the classroom until these issues are addressed by the Ministry of Education. Union President Pedro Shepherd says in some cases, poor management, and in others, the regulations in the Education Act are contributing to the increasing indiscipline in schools.
The Act speaks specifically to only principals administering corporal punishment. If it has to be done by a senior teacher or a head of department in a secondary school, permission has to be given by the principal. And children, knowing this and knowing that some principals are weak, some principals are friendly enough not to administer corporal punishment, are taking advantage of the situation.
Mr. Shepherd says rather than abolishing corporal punishment, the cross-section of teachers who can now administer punishment should be widened.
We also have to look at the question of what we administer the corporal punishment with. Whether we use the cane, whether we use the strap, we use a ruler, we spank with our hands, but something has to be done to pull back this situation. And if we do not change the act to allow for this corporal punishment to be used effectively, I see no turning back in terms of the indiscipline or the decline in discipline in schools.
He says the BUT is willing to sit down with ministry officials to submit recommendations for changing the act, which is outdated. He says the BUT, along with sister union, the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union, will host a series of town hall meetings looking at violence in schools. Lisa Broom, CBC News.
Principal of Parkinson Memorial, Jeff Brooms, has taken to task those teachers who are going to the union meeting during the morning and returning to the classroom in the afternoon. He calls it disappointing.
I cannot believe you are saying you're fair for your safety and you threat your health, but you'll stay away from the school, but yet you will come to school in the afternoon. But nothing changes. Indeed, I think the greater challenges in the afternoon when it's hot and children get frustrated and tired. Let's put aside the pretense and get back to doing our jobs. If there's something that is an issue, let's sit down like big men and resolve it. Because what this pretense now is just that. I'm very disappointed because we're better than this. You either fear for your safety and complain with the compound, or you're not fearful of your safety. But you can't be away on morning and come school. The children need to be taught in preparation for the exams. Let's get back to work, please, or let's sit down and talk.
Mr. Brooms also says things were calm at the school today. He says 611 students were there along with 31 teachers, 3 more than yesterday, and he's praising the teachers and other staff who were on the job.
Mike Cummins, the and Mrs. Bovell, myself, we held morning assembly. I really had to commend the student leaders. They've been absolutely terrific. Those prefects are really the top of the line. And I commended those teachers who gave all the support to what was going on in the school. And the members of the Royal Barbados Police Force came by to give some checks that they always do. This area has been very supportive of us. Apart from that, things have been fairly all right.
The Education Ministry has condemned the ongoing action at the Parkinson Memorial and Alma Parish schools and has urged the teachers to return to work immediately. In a statement, the ministry says it considers the BUT's action of holding meetings during working hours as a declaration of industrial action, where no dispute exists between the union and the ministry. It stresses that the withdrawal of labour is tantamount to a strike, and as a result, like any strike or withdrawal of labour, which fails to follow the proper industrial relations practice, there are consequences of which the employee should be aware. The ministry said at no time did the executive of the BUT or the administration of the Parkinson Memorial School draw to its attention issues related to discipline or safety of students, teachers, other staff members or members of the public who access the school. It added that it was never informed whether any teacher has been injured or threatened by students. Well, teaching staff at the Vauxhall Primary School have found a creative way for students to get involved in giving back to the needy. Students there took part in a food drive where they were asked to pay a minimum of $2 on an HIV symbol drawn on the school's ground. Senior teacher of the Vauxhall Primary, Rosalind Gittins, says the money collected will be donated to the AIDS Foundation. She also says the parents of the students were very supportive in this initiative.
It has been really exciting because the children have enjoyed it. The parents donated the money. Some parents actually came and made their own donations themselves, and the children are enjoying it. We had a speech by Mr. Buffett this morning, and Mr. Ennis, who is the ministry representative. He's here with us as well. One of our teachers, Mr. Pringle, he drew the symbol for the HIV Association, and the children placed their dollars around it, and they're really excited about giving and donating to help persons less fortunate than themselves.
Barbados Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite is concerned about whether the Caribbean as a grouping is paying enough attention to crime and security. He raised the issue in the context of the Caribbean being the most tourism-dependent region in the world. He was speaking during parliamentary debate on the cruise ship opening of Facilities Amendment Bill 2015.
I would like to see more focus, not only by us here in Barbados, but as a region, on the whole issue of having almost a seamless crime and security strategy. Because whether we like it or not, there are many individuals who cannot separate Jamaica from Barbados, and who cannot separate Trinidad from Barbados, etc. When something happens in the region, automatically think, well, I cannot go to Barbados because I heard about crime in Jamaica, etc.
A government minister has voiced concern about what he sees as an increase in crime and deviant behavior by a minority of young people, particularly males. Minister of Social Care, Constituency Empowerment and Community Development, Steve Blackett, says it's a situation his ministry intends to address. For starters, there will be a change in some of the programs offered by the Community Development Department.
I believe we will have to refashion, retail and recalibrate some of what we're doing, that we can reach these young men, not only reach them, but reach them in their own space. Our programs are traditionally those that are really aimed at the traditional kind of community impact programs, as we call them, the basketry, the macrame, those kind of things. But I believe we need to refashion and recalibrate the programs that we're offering, that will be of more human interest kind of programs.
Acting Chief Community Development Officer Patricia Hackett-Codrington says they've already held discussions in the department looking to offer programs more attractive to males.
We're looking at including things like web design, spreading the community arts program, doing things in that program that will appeal to young men and to get them involved in the process. I've also advised the staff that I would want them in all their community impact programs to include certain modules which will help develop the community, things like parenting, looking at things like violence, domestic violence and other forms of violence, looking at human trafficking, other interest areas which will help the community to understand the importance of the work we do and to understand their importance in moving the process forward.
Lawmen tonight have charged a teenager with possession of a shotgun. He is 16-year-old Roshan Romario Gibbs, a resident of 3rd Avenue, Wilkinson Road, Richmond Gap, St. Michael. According to Police Public Relations Officer, Acting Assistant Superintendent David Welch, the teenager has been arrested and charged with committing 3 offences about 3 in the morning on February the 8th while at Waterford, St. Michael. The charges include illegal possession of 1 shotgun, unlawful possession of 1 round of ammunition, and possession of 1 camouflage pants. The police PRO says lawmen conducted an operation in the area of Waterford, St. Michael when a motor car was intercepted with Gibbs and other persons. A subsequent search of the vehicle by police revealed one 12-gauge shotgun. Gibbs appeared at the District A Magistrates Court today to face the charges and has been remanded until March the 11th. Well, one lucky Barbadian is tonight $5.4 million richer. That's because the super lotto jackpot of $5,455,000 was won by someone who made that ticket purchase at a Christchurch establishment. The winning numbers yesterday for draw number 560 were 7, 13, 16, 21, 24, and the Super Bowl number was 9. Lottery officials say the winner had not come forward up until news time, but the person would have chosen their own numbers and bought that lucky ticket at +2 in Oistins. The new starting jackpot is now $2.99 million. Coming up after this break, we have more news, but right now we want your take on this issue. Do you believe the BUT is justified in its stance at Parkinson and Alma Parish schools? Text yes or no to the short code 8111. We will share the results at the end of the news.
Win a cruise this year with Byco. Just spend $10 on any Byco product and claim a scratch card. You could win 2 7-day Carnival cruises, courtesy of Foster and Ince, and 2 dinner cruises from Black Pearl Party Cruises, or one of 500 1 liters of Byco ice cream and 1,000 Byco bandanas. See press for a list of participating outlets or call Byco at 430-2100.
My name is Grace Chambers, and I'm a mentor on the Bank on Me show. Will I be watching the Bank on Me TV show on CBC TV Channel 8 on Tuesdays at 8 p.m.? Absolutely.
Bank on Me, Tuesdays 8 p.m. on CBC TV 8.
Cruise tourism in the region is likely to suffer a blow this year as some cruise lines redirect some of their cruises away from the region. The revelation has come from Hugh Riley, Secretary General of the Caribbean Tourism Organization.
While the Caribbean will remain the #1 cruise destination worldwide, the 2015-2016 Cruise Industry News Annual Report is suggesting that some ships will be repositioned away from the region, and consequently we anticipate a slight decline in capacity regionally, with growth in cruise passenger arrivals remaining flat.
On the flip side, Mr. Riley says some regional destinations have been able to attract additional airlift and new routes.
Increased economic activity in our region's major source markets and the fact that several of our member countries have negotiated additional routes with the airlines to increase seat capacity during the year should lead to higher demand for Caribbean vacations. At the same time, hotel brands are making substantial investments, bringing new rooms to the market, indicating rising confidence in the industry, and certainly rising confidence in the Caribbean as well.
The Canadian Christian group Seedlings is back. Every year they visit primary schools across this island, spreading biblical teachings to students. And during assembly, students of the Ellerton Primary were taught about forgiveness. Seedling Coordinator for Barbados, Paul Moores, says what is the aim of this year's program?
Well, it's a program that we offer in all the primary schools here in Barbados. And this year our message is a message of forgiveness. We believe that everyone needs to be forgiven and everyone needs to ask for forgiveness. And so that's what the focus is for this year with our program here in Barbados.
A young Barbadian male has found a niche market in the art industry. As Kimita Jones reports, he has started to make a big impression with a little-known style of art.
Shane Eastman is a young visual artist who has produced over 50 pieces of this style of art. It's called Zentangle.
I started to notice this form in doodling that I liked, bringing all these textures and shapes together, and I liked filling spaces with them. As I create a line, I consider the composition and the part it plays in the whole scheme of things. Detail is what I really like to look into. All the little pieces matter, because when they come together, you know, it makes a whole. So bringing it from a very thin line, like thick lines like this are hard, take a lot of time for me to figure out, even for me to decide that it's going to be a thick line or where I'm going to place a thick line, because it determines now how all the other lines work together. And when you look at it as a whole, does it represent the foreground, the background, you know, kind of thing? It helps nurture the body as I'm creating it.
This style of art is free-spirited, and so many times the results are unexpected.
I don't always know where I'm going with it too, because, you know, they're just lines and circles. I know that I'm about to create a form, but like specifically how they're gonna, it's kind of like feeling it out. You know, like somebody is into clay and they're molding. I'm kind of molding the form as I continue to, you know, bring it together. I use textures in all of them, but you can tell that the use of texture is different for everybody. It's built tall. The pieces aren't huge because it's a lot of fine pieces to build up a huge mass. I guess you get to understand the scale of it too.
His pet piece is this one called Majestatum, Latin for majesty, where he aims to capture movement in a structured form. It's a prime example of his work, the theme of which is predator-prey relationships.
Well, this is the first time I mixed two styles together. I brought my color and I brought my black and white style together. Usually I like to separate them because I believe that they're strong on their own, but bringing them together kind of brought a beautiful twist to the piece. Almost kind of surrealism. There's some things about the hummingbird that I like, and I kind of envision, because a hummingbird is a very quick creature. So I kind of try to slow it down in my mind, and as it travels, I will try to capture every image of it, and I'll try to capture like the line of movement it would make. So say a hummingbird is coming from this point and it's flying, I'll try to capture every element of that, you know. And I guess I kind of did that too in here, capturing movement, like right here. You see it coming from one point to another. You see the line of movement.
The artist says he uses social media to market his work, and the comments thus far have been very encouraging. Shane says market demand has shifted to new types of art, although he acknowledges that some people are still reluctant to embrace contemporary styles.
Something that upsets me here is that people find it very easy to say, you need to leave if you want to succeed. There's great work and huge talent coming from this place, and people feel comfortable saying you need to leave. I don't believe in that, and I believe that if we make hair strong, we make hair an industry, we use our people as a resource for us all to benefit, this country to benefit, it would be great. And we have it. We have everything here that we need. We have the people, and that's all you really need to get going.
The young artist is adamant that there is marketable talent in Barbados. He says mentorship is one of the keys for other new artists to succeed.
It's good that you understand yourself as a person and how you're going to put yourself forward, because this art world is very unusual, and I guess this world is built up a little bit on a majority of not what you can do, but it's more of who you know kind of thing. But make a good impression and do things that please you and are respectful in other people's eyes as well.
He adds that an organization is needed to help young artists to develop their skills.
I'd like an organization here where artists are really looking out for one another, and there's a body of people that come together and look out for their best interests and kind of help each other get from one place to the next, one stage. Because the different stages that you can be in as an artist, you could feel as though you have this talent and it's not really working out for you. But if you get with the right minds, they will like, this is the next step you need to make, and this is where it can take you, and this is the kind of encouragement you need. This is the area you need to focus on. So if you have a good body of focused people towards the same idea, you could get some very beautiful results.
This talented young artist believes that as some of the more mature artists prepare to retire, space is created on the canvas for fresh talent to leave their indelible print on the international scene. Kimita Jones, CBC News.
Well done. Thank you, Kimita. Still to come, a look at stories, major stories from across this region. But just a reminder, we'd like to hear from you on this question. Do you believe the BUT is justified in its stance at Parkinson and Alma Paris? Text yes or no to the short code 8111. As you know, those results are coming up at the end of the news. Follow CBC News on Twitter at CBC_Barbados and on Facebook at CBC News Barbados. Here now is a tip